Narad, greatest of the philosopher devotees, began to speak.
Sri Narada said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all living beings and their leaders carry out worship to be well accepted. It is He only who brings them together and disperses them.
As a cow bound through the nose by a long rope is conditioned, so also human beings are bound by different Vedic injunctions and are conditioned to obey the orders of the Supreme.
As a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will, so the supreme will of the Lord brings men together and separates them.
Boys.
That's Sri Krishna is God, Lord Krishna, in the peace of all mankind, Kali Yuga, has now descended to earth to eliminate envious from the earth.
The Lord has already performed his duty to help the demigods, and he is awaiting the rest. You Pandavas may wait as long as the Lord is here on earth.
O king, your uncle Dhritarashtra, his brother Vidura, and his wife Gandhari have gone to the certain site of the Himalaya mountains, where there are shelters of the great sages.
The place is called Sakhasrata, divided by 7 within the north sides of it, and just
बहुत ठंड लग रही है मुझे, मेरा शॉल लेके आओ, रूम में होगा.
young father immediately told it.
On the banks at Saptasrota, Dhritarashtra is now engaged in beginning Ashtanga Yoga by bathing 3 times daily in the morning, noon, and evening, by performing the Agnihotra sacrifice with fire and by drinking only water. This helps one control the mind and the senses and free one completely from thoughts of familiar affection.
One who has controlled the sitting postures, the yogi's asanas, and the breathing process can turn the senses to the absolute personality of Godhead and thus become immune to the contaminations of the modes of material nature, namely mundane, goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Dhritarashtra will have to amalgamate his pure identity with intelligence and then merge into the Supreme Being with knowledge of his qualitative oneness as a living entity with the Supreme Brahman. Being freed from the block of sky, he will have to rise to spiritual sky.
He will have to suspend all actions of the senses, even from the outside, and will have to be impervious to interactions of the senses, which are influenced by the modes of material nature. After renouncing all material duties, he must become immovably established beyond all sources of hindrances or the past.
O king, he will quit his body, most probably on the 5th day from today, and his body will turn into death.
The Buddha being affected with the light and brain will then leave that state of sleep to rest.
Having spoken thus, the great sage Narad, along with his friends, ascended into the outer space. Yudhishthir kept his instructions in his heart,
Haribol. Yeah, we read quite a few verses. So we'll go to 43, verse 43. We'll focus on 43. You want something? We still have to recite Sanskrit, Prabhu. Control your enthusiasm. Yatha krido pashkaranam samyoga vigma viha
Samyoga Vigama Viha Ichaya Kriditu Sat Syatam Ichaya Kriditu Syatam Tathevishchaya Nirmanam Chaya Ninam Yatha Krido Karanam Samyoga Vigama Viha Ichaya Kriditu Syatam Tathevishchaya Nrinam. Yes, someone from ladies' side. Yatha Krido Pashkaranam Samyoga Vigama Viha Ichaya Kriditu Satyam Tathevishchaya Nrinam. Yatha Krido Pashkaranam Samyoga Vigama Viha Ichaya Kriditu Syatyam. Ladies, sorry men. Tatha Veshya Ninam. Yatha Krido Pashkaranam Samyoga Vigama Viha Ichaya Kriditu Syatyam Tathevishchaya Nrinam. Finish? Everyone done? Okay, boys, continue. Yatha Krido Pashkaranam Samyoga Vigama Viha Ichaya Kriditu Syatyam Samyoga Vigama Viha Ichaya Kriditu Syatyam Tathevishchaya Nrinam. Okay, everyone together. Yatha, as much as. Krida Upashkaranam, playthings. Samyoga, union. Vigamo, disunion. Iha, in this world. Ichaya, by the will of. Kriditu, just to play a part. Syatyam, take place. Tatha, so also. Eva, certainly. Sa, Supreme Lord. Ichaya, by the will of. Nrinam, of the human beings. Translation. Everyone together. As a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will, so the supreme will of the Lord gather and separates them. Purport, I will read. We must know for certain that the particular position in which we are now set up is an arrangement of supreme will in terms of our own acts in the past. The Supreme Lord is present as a localized Paramatma in the heart of every living being. As it is said in Bhagavad Gita 13:23, and therefore He knows everything of our activities in every stage of our life. He rewards the reactions of our actions by placing us in some particular place. A rich man gets his son born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but the child who comes as the rich man's son deserved such a place, and therefore he is placed there by the will of the Lord. And at a particular moment, when the child has to be removed from that place, he is also carried by the will of the Supreme. even if the child or the father does not wish to be separated from the happy relation. The same thing happens in the case of a poor man also. Neither rich man nor poor man has any control over such meeting and or separations of living beings. The example of a player and his playthings should not be misunderstood. One may argue that since the Lord is bound to award the reactionary results of our own actions, the example of a player cannot be applied. But it is not so. We must always remember that the Lord is the supreme will and He is not bound by any law. Generally, the law of karma is that one is awarded the results of one's own actions, but in special cases, by the will of the Lord, such resultant actions are changed also. But this change can be effected by the will of the Lord only and no other. Therefore, the example of player cited in this verse is quite appropriate, for supreme will is absolutely free to do whatever he likes, and because he is all perfect, there is no mistake in any of his actions or reactions. These changes of resultant actions are especially rendered by Lord when a pure devotee is involved. It is assured in Bhagavad Gita 9:30 and 31 that the Lord saves a pure devotee who has surrendered unto Him without reservations from all sorts of reactions of sins. And there is no doubt about this. There are hundreds of examples of reactions changed by the Lord in history of the world. If the Lord is able to change the reactions of one's past deeds, then certainly He is not Himself bound by any actions or reactions of His own deeds. He is perfect and transcendental to all laws. Hare Krishna. Such a beautiful purport. And first I would like to say how, if there is any situation like this, Narad Muni always appears out of nowhere. Just yesterday we were talking with Sarthak Prabhu and we were discussing pastimes of Narad Muni. Wherever anyone is in distress or wherever there is some confusion, especially among the royal orders, the king of the whole world, Yudhishthir Maharaj was in lamentation because his aunt and uncles, they left the palace. So immediately Narad Muni appeared. Where else do we find Narad Muni appearing like this out of nowhere? Any examples from Shastra? There are many.
The voice from the sky that told Kamsa that Devaki's eighth child would kill him is determined to be Narada Muni.
Yes. I'm not sure about that. I can. Yeah, I'm specifically talking about where he physically appears and gives instructions or guidance like that. Yeah, that we know when to accelerate Krishna's pastimes, he appeared and he gave an example of a lotus petal. That how can you say that this one is number 8 or this one is number 8? If you count from different sides, it's different. So Narad Muni is an amazing devotee of the Lord, and everything that he does is by the will of the Lord. So it's amazing how he comes and guides these different devotees. He appeared when Dhruv Maharaj was going to the forest, right? He appeared and what was his instruction? He said, you go back. This forest is very dangerous for a child like you. There are wild animals. How will you survive there? So, but Dhruv Maharaj was determined. He was very determined to, find the Lord. So then he gave instructions on how to do it. He gave him mantra and kind of initiated him by giving that mantra. And then Dhruv Maharaj followed Narad Muni's instruction and was able to see the Lord. Similarly, we find Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj found Narad Muni at a very young, not even young age, before he was born in the womb of his mother. And Prahlad Maharaj heard from Narad Muni for how many years? 16 celestial years. It is said to be, I think, 1,000. Yeah, some 1,000 years of a human being. So, Prahlad Maharaj heard Srimad Bhagavatam for those many years. So now we have to see like how intensely are we studying Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, it's very important to study Srimad Bhagavatam every day, because we hear many or most of the cases how devotional life started and how they progressed is just by hearing and chanting. And Prabhupada was so kind that he has given us a whole spectrum of services and things to do, like hearing, chanting, service, kirtan, sankirtan, book distribution. There's a lot of things. So everything is capable of making us fully Krishna conscious. So we have to become serious basically and take this opportunity. Yeah. Yes, Narad Muni. So here also Narad Muni appears, and he beautifully explains how this affection. Yesterday I was talking with Sarthak Prabhu and he was explaining that this rag and dvesh, there are two things. Rag is when you are attached to something, and dvesh is when you are envious of something or someone. So these two things are going on constantly in this material world, and we as conditioned souls, we either have raga or dvesha for someone, and both are not good. We have to leave both of them. So here he is consoling Yudhishthira Maharaj that you don't worry about this, and he also tells him that what happened to them, where they have gone. And here in purport, Prabhupada talks about how everything is an arrangement of the Lord. Everything is happening as it is supposed to happen, because we have a lot of karmas. There are different types of karma: prarabdha, sanchit. It is said, Hari Parshad Prabhu, when he was here, he beautifully explained different types of karma. Well, this can be a little bit of technical, but it will be very helpful in understanding how things work. So he said, from many past lives, we have a lot of karma that is like a heap of rice. Okay, imagine a heap of rice size of this temple, okay, which is there, okay, in storage. That is our karmas. Now when we take birth, a handful or a basket full of karma is taken from that heap of rice and given to us. So that is our prarabdha. Yes, that is our prarabdha. So that is what we are born with, so that we have to go through in this life. And now while we are here, we are acquiring more karma. Okay, while we are going through that prarabdha, we are also acquiring more karma. Now where that karma is going? That karma is going again back to that heap. And what happens is, when a living entity, birth after birth after birth, that heap of rice or heap of karma, it keeps on increasing, and there is no end to it, right? So, and he also gave an example of how there is kriyaman karma. Kriyaman karma is like, he gave an example of arrow that is being shot and that is mid-air. So you can do something about the karmas that have not yet fructified. But what about the karmas that are actually fructified and that will give you results? The arrow is mid-air and it will, reach its target. But he said this kind of karma can also be mitigated. How? By bhakti. So, and bhakti is the only way that can mitigate our karmas. And Krishna is the only person. Prabhupada also says in this very purport that Krishna is the only person that can change our destiny or our karma, and no one else can do it. Many times, many people, they pray to demigods, different demigods, for whatever their needs and wants is, or to get out of their distress, right? They pray to demigods. Now, I think someone beautifully asked this question in the same session to Haripashad Prabhu that, sometimes we see that they pray to demigod and they also get some results out of that. So what is that? He said, what demigods can do is, imagine this is a line, okay? And you are here, and you are supposed to get fruits at different points. Now, what happens is, there is some gap also in the middle where you're not supposed to get good fruits. So you're praying in that gap. So what demigods can do is take fruits from your future and give it to you now. Okay? Take it from here and give it to you here. So, but what happens is, there's a gap here. Now when you go ahead in your journey, there you'll face that, and with a higher intensity, because that fruits that you were supposed to get is taken out, right? So that makes kind of a hole there. So you'll face it with greater intensity. So that is what they can do. They cannot change it. They can just do some exchanges and give this from here to here. That's all they can do. So it was very beautiful, and I somehow remembered it. So I just want to share that. And the example is given of a player who sets up and disperses his playthings. And Krishna is said to be Swarat, Abhigya and Swarat. Now what is the meaning of Abhigya and Swarat? Swarat means fully independent, and he is feeling at the same time. He can understand that. And Swarat means he is fully independent to do anything and everything. And question may be raised that, okay, if he is capable of doing anything and everything, then why is he not doing it? Right? Why is he not taking away our sufferings? Why is he not making us Krishna conscious? Or why is he not, helping us? Do we have this kind of question sometimes? Or many times? We may have this kind of question that, okay, if Krishna is fully independent, he is fully omniscient, he understands everything, and he can actually do everything about it, not something but everything about it, right? So why is he not doing it? The answer is, he is doing it. He is actually doing it. Now how? Why are we in the situation that we are right now? The answer is that we want to be here. We want to be in this situation. And because of that we are here. Now what is Krishna consciousness? What is Krishna consciousness? We are trying to develop this desire of going back to Krishna, and our desire of going back to Krishna only, or loving Krishna. That pure desire we are trying to develop. And when the desire is developed, Krishna will take us back. Unless that, we have a lot of other desires also. And because we have that, we have to stay here. And if we genuinely want help, Krishna is actually more eager to help us than we are to take his help. It is said, if you see pastime of Gajendra, okay, pastime of Gajendra, how eager Krishna was to help him. It is said that he actually took Garuda on his back, and that's how fast he ran to help Gajendra. That my devotee is in distress. But the only thing is that Krishna will not extend his hands until you desire to take that help. We have to. I remember Dintarani Prabhu, once she gave a very beautiful example of how sunlight is available to everyone equally, right? Outside we see there is sunlight, but we are not accessing it. Why? Because we are inside a building. If we are inside a building, we cannot complain that why is sun not showering his sunshine on me. We have to go out and take advantage of sunshine. We cannot complain like that. So similarly, we have to, receive, make ourselves capable of receiving that blessing or receiving that mercy that Krishna is showering. All the time he is waiting for us. He is only waiting for us. Like it is said in Bhagavad Gita also that there are two birds, right? Prabhupada is talking about Paramatma. There are two birds sitting on the same branch. One is eating the fruits of his reaction, and one bird is observing him. Now, one bird that is eating, that is us, souls. And the bird that is observing is Paramatma, super soul. Now, it is said that Paramatma is waiting for us to turn, that he can help us. But what we are doing? We are busy eating. So that is why we are not getting the help. And just before we move forward, Prabhupada also quotes 9.30 and 31. These are beautiful words. If you want to pull up, I think we have a Bhagavad Gita here. Yes, amazing. So if you want to see 9:30, I'll read the translation. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is considered to be saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. 31 says, he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So Krishna is assuring us, saying that even who commits most abominable actions, he is still considered my devotee. And Prabhupada, he beautifully explains in the purport that accidental fall downs are mentioned here. That accidental fall downs are okay. If we make mistakes, that is okay. Now, there is a difference, and then he again clarifies that mistake is different. So I'll read from the purport, Prabhupada's words. He says, on the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee in transcendental devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accident due to strong power of material connections. Devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusory energy, there may be accidental fall downs. But when one is strong enough, he is no longer subjected to such fall downs. As previously explained, no one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve in his character devotional service, then it is to be understood that he is not a high devotee. So Prabhupada knows, that we can also misuse this verse and do all kinds of abominable action and then say that, Krishna says that even if one does this, he is still a devotee. So he clarifies that this is only referring to accidental fall downs. Now, there is difference between accidental and intentional. You do something intentionally, you know that you are doing it, and you know the reactions also, but you still think that Krishna will take care and you anyway do it. So that is what Prabhupada is saying. There is also one of the Namaprads, if anyone remembers. Which one of the Namaprad is this? Exactly, to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. So when we commit sinful activity, with this mindset that because I am chanting, I will be forgiven of this, that is an offense to the holy name, and that is very dangerous. It's one of the most dangerous offenses. So Prabhupada is referring to that also here. And then the second verse gives a lot of hope also. Krishna says that my devotee never perishes. And if Krishna is saying that my devotee never perishes, that means we can be rest assured that if we started our devotional life, if we started our journey, then Krishna will take care of us, unless we are sincere. I was talking to someone, I don't know who, but I said, Prabhu, we have to be very truthful to Krishna. We cannot lie to Krishna, We have to stand in front of him and not show anything. Just be who you are. Because how can you lie to Krishna? He's right in your heart. He knows your heart. How can you lie to Krishna? You cannot. So there's no point. But whom you are lying to, you're lying to yourself only. So if you stray to okay, let me give an example. For example, I'm scrolling, okay? I have a habit of scrolling, and I'm scrolling. Now, I can do that, and in front of everyone, I can act like a pure devotee and act like I'm very strict, I'm very sincere in my sadhana, and then inside still, or in your room, you're still scrolling. And in front of Krishna also, you're like, oh, give me pure devotional service. Or, okay, a better example would be, you want something material. Okay, for example, you want a car. Okay, you have a desire to have a car. Now, when you're coming in front of Krishna, you're asking that, oh Krishna, please give me pure devotional service. Please give me pure devotional service. Please, let me have some love for you. Now, you're having this desire, but in front of Krishna, you're showing something else. You have to be honest and accept that you have this desire. Krishna, I have this desire. I don't want to act on it. Can you please help me? Maybe I'm not giving accurate examples. Can someone think of anything like us being not honest?
With the same example you gave of desiring a car, it could be that you go to Krishna and say, Krishna, I desire to have a car because it will help me get back and forth the temple. I will use it in your service.
Like that, yes. Yes, this is hypocrisy actually, yes. What I said was not, but this is an accurate example where you're hiding your desire in guise of seva. And that can happen many times. Like we can fulfill our desires on the name of seva. Like, okay, wow, okay, so I lost chain of my thoughts, but yes, be honest, right?
Don't hide your desires behind
Yes, this might be a strong example, but sometimes, it's not, okay, we may talking to an opposite gender, or we may spending some time with them in guise of seva, that okay, I want to do this seva, that's why I'm with them, or that's why I'm talking to them. But inside you may know what you are doing. And see, this is the last thing you want to do, lie to yourself. We know what is there inside, but still outside or our mind will trick us and say that, oh, we are just doing it for seva. But we have to be very honest to ourselves and to Krishna, because if not, then Krishna will not help you. And why would he help you, if we are not being honest like that? So this is one example. But if we are honest, and if we pray to him that Krishna, please help me, and you still, okay, you be honest and you keep doing the activity also. Inside you know that there's some subtle pleasure that you are getting from that interaction. You still keep doing it, but you pray to Krishna honestly that Krishna, I know I'm getting some subtle pleasure and I'm doing this. Can you please help me? Now this is being honest. Nothing changed. What changed? You accepting it in front of Krishna. You're not hiding it. You're accepting, being honest. And this helps a lot. I can say for myself, I've accepted. At first I've hidden things, and then I've accepted it in front of Krishna. That Krishna, this is who I am, standing in front of you, all naked. Prabhupada says we have to be like that. Devotional life is like that. And talking about will, I want to say one more thing. So, many times there is a question that why do devotees suffer, and why is there distress in devotees' life? I think I'll just go for 2 minutes and then we can have 1 or 2 questions. So, why is there distress in devotees' life, right? There is a verse, Tatte nukampa susamikshmano gunjana evatmakritam vipakam, right? Is that the same verse which says that to whomever I give special favor, I take away their wealth? No. What is that verse? Yasyaham anugarami harisye tad dhanam sane. Yes. So that verse, Prabhupada quotes it in a purport and he says that this happened with me. He said, I was well situated in my business, but Krishna took away everything. And he was laughing reading this verse, saying that this was a special favor. And pure devotees can laugh at this, but some of us, like me, I would get scared reading at this verse. Be like, whoa, Krishna is going to take away everything. But the point is that Krishna will not do it until we are ready. Krishna will not do it until we are ready. And Krishna knows. So it is like that. And pure devotees, distress, happiness, it doesn't matter for them. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I can just say the English translation, that his happiness and distress are like changing seasons. It arises from sense perception only. And a saintly person is not bewildered by such change. So we can see that they are not disturbed by happiness or distress. Why? They just want Krishna. Okay, they don't want happiness or distress. We have to understand this. When we take devotional life, aiming for Krishna, we are not aiming for happiness. Topmost example is gopis. Right? In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it is said that to find like who is the highest, who got the most mercy, and it ends at Srimati Radharani and gopis, right? So, where was I? yes, happiness and distress, only Krishna. So they are not concerned about what happens to them, they are only concerned about Krishna. So that is very difficult. If we see prayers of Kunti Maharani, what is she's asking for? Calamities, she's asking for distress. Why? Because she says that when there is distress, Krishna is with us. So what they want is Krishna's association. So that is our aim. Okay. So with that, I'd like to stop. Any comments? Yes, Prabhu. You raised your hand? No. Okay.
Sometimes devotees say that I will do services. So my question was in Bhagavad Gita it's mentioned whatever you do you have to dovetail in Krishna's service. So maybe I mean there's two sides of the coin. Maybe somebody's genuinely asking for a car because they want to drop drop devotees because and dovetail that.
Yes.
So
Okay.
how would you explain?
So my point is, it's not bad for us to ask Krishna for a car. The point is that you're not being honest with Krishna. You be honest, whatever you want. If you want car for yourself, you ask for Krishna. There's a verse in Bhagavatam again. I'm forgetting. Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogina yajita purusham param. So whatever desires you have, you have desire for liberation, you have material desires, you just approach Krishna. Dhruv Maharaj, what he wanted, was he aiming for pure devotional service? No. He wanted a kingdom bigger than his. What he got in the end, when he was in front of Vishnu, what was his offering as prayers? That I was praying for broken glasses and I got diamond. Right? I'm accurate, right? So when we pray to Krishna, what happens is Krishna will fulfill that desire in a way that desire will go away. So that is what we are doing. So that's why it's important for us to approach Krishna only. If we approach Krishna, then that desire will be purified. And then we'll be wanting to use that, whatever it is, for Krishna's service. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yad karosi yad snasi, yad josi dadasi, yad tapasyasi tu kaunteya, tad kurusva madarpanam. Whatever you do it as an offering to me. So you can do that, yes. But be honest. Very, very honest.
I have a question that, you mentioned that there might be sometimes hidden desires. Because sometimes we are not also aware in a way that, we think that that's okay to do. Or, it's like our right to do it, maybe in some actions. Because we feel like we are Krishna's child, right? He will forgive us in whatever we do. So we do it anyways. So how should we draw a line that, okay, this is not right and this is acceptable? If I'm clear in my question.
So if I'm understanding it correctly, is that you're saying sometimes we may not know that we are doing this, hidden desires, and we may understand, we may believe that okay, Krishna will anyway forgive us, so we anyway do it. So one is, as devotees, we have to be introspective and also have company, have devotees who can be dead honest with you. Like they can tell you on face, Prabhu, this is wrong. Prabhu, you're going off track here. So then you'll get to know that okay, this is I need to drop, this is where I need to stop. And other thing is, yes, Krishna will forgive, but one thing is, why don't we? So another thing is that is Krishna's greatness, that he will forgive. But what is our part? How are we being a good devotee? our point should be, okay, Krishna will forgive, but I will not do such actions only that Krishna has to forgive. Why do we have to, test that? Even if we cannot help ourselves, that's a different thing. But if we know that, okay, this activity is not good, but I'll do it. Why? Because Krishna will forgive. Why? Because he's so great. Example can be, there is a son and there is a very rich father. Okay. Now, the son will do bad things knowing that my father will take care of me. And there is one more son who will not do same actions knowing that father is so kind, he will forgive me, but I don't want to trouble him. So it's like that. We have to see, like sometimes devotees say that, oh, Krishna is so kind, he will accept whatever, or he will purify me. But why don't we take this initiative of getting purified ourselves? Why don't we try? Why do we have to put a lot of burden on Krishna? Why don't we make efforts? So that is a difference. I don't know if it helps you. Just some thoughts. Someone else had a hand? Nitai Prabhu?
Talk about honesty reminded me a lot of that one verse in Bhagavad Gita that says that one who makes a show of yoga but is internally meditating on the objects of desire is the greatest pretender. And I've been thinking about that verse a lot lately because I feel that I know that I have material desires that, like, I haven't purified myself yet. I'm still having these desires and I expect I'll have them for some time. But then it's hard to know, like, how open should I be? Because especially living here in the temple, I'm acting outwardly as a devotee. I am, doing all of these actions to try and be a devotee and be a yogi, but still inwardly I'm thinking about material things that I want, and it makes me wonder, like, how open should I be? How should I, what would it look like to act in a way that I'm being honest and not acting as a pretender?
So, praying is very important. So, when we pray to Krishna, then we be very, very honest with Krishna. We don't pretend then. We may not be very comfortable sharing it with others, but we can still share it with Krishna. We can write a prayer in our book. We can just stand in front of Krishna, Gopinath, and tell him the truth. That we can do. And when we do that, Krishna will help. Krishna will help us for sure, 100%. So that's why we have to be honest with Krishna. And also, it's very beneficial. Many of us can attest to this. We can be very honest to Krishna's devotees also, because they can help us. They can help us. Sometimes many of us, we do this mistake of not being honest to Krishna's devotees. We may feel scared that, okay, if I be honest, then, how will they see me? They'll judge me. I had this fear. So someone asked, like, how can I trust someone? How can I trust someone to reveal my heart? And then someone said, I don't know the speaker, they said, you reveal a little bit and then see what they do with it. And then you reveal a little bit more and see how they do with it. So it's a process, and you build some trust and then you can share your heart. So like that. I feel like everyone should have equal devotees with whom they can share their heart, and someone higher with whom they can share their heart. Someone who's more experienced, advanced than them. Yeah, it helps.
Just wanted to say that Krishna making arrangement for people to coming together, because the lights went off, and that's how we decided.
Yeah.
And I could relate to the verse with this Bhagavatam class, and I was just, there was something in my prayers and stuff, so I was like, Krishna, I want to take your darshan this morning. So we're just sitting downstairs in office, and lights went off, and Jiyudhara came and he said, go call Alex. I had to take darshans. So it was such a prayer, just like in the verse.
Yeah.
Very heartfelt class.
Yes. It's like you cannot deny Krishna's will, you know. He is the controller, and if he wants to do something, he will do it anyway. I mean, doesn't matter what you want sometimes. And actually, this is real surrender, where you surrender your, so pure devotees, they've surrendered their free will. Their free will is Krishna's will. So what they want is what Krishna wants. And that is very hard. Imagine surrendering your free will to someone. But we should also know that we are surrendering that free will to someone who is our ever well-wisher and who can never be wrong, whose plan can never fail. So if we know someone who is like that, will be more prone to, or will be more, I don't know, encouraged to surrender our free will, yes, like that. But the point of full surrender is this: we don't, the only thing that we want is to serve them in different ways, but it's nothing for us. And what happens to us? We are taken care by Krishna. So it's like that. So we are trying that, and hopefully we all will reach that point someday. We'll all be able to fully surrender to Krishna. And yes, I'm very fortunate. Thank you so much for listening and letting me share something on Srimad Bhagavatam. It's always so nice to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. I would encourage you Prabhus also that please come and let me know if you want to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, I'll be very happy to schedule you and hear from you. But for that also please read Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, because if you don't read, how can you share? So read Srila Prabhupada's books regularly, and then see how Krishna will act through you. Today I had a very different class in my mind, a very different class. Like what I spoke was nothing what I wanted to speak, but it comes out what Krishna's will, his will. So yes, so thank you so much. I won't hold you back for long. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Vanchakalpatarubhishya kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः. Jai.
I wanted to ask you something.